Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach about self-government. Now, this concept, this principle changes our relationships and it changes the way that we interact with ourselves. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to analyze emotional entitlement in oneself. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about emotional entitlement and what that is and how to recognize it in ourselves and what to do about it. So first, let's start with what emotional entitlement is. Well, entitlement means that you have expectations about things. You feel like you deserve certain things. So what is emotional entitlement? This is when you feel like you deserve to emote in a certain way. In fact, you might think that it's healthiest for you to be able to dump out your emotions on another person just whenever you want, no matter what they are, whether they're productive or non-productive. So what many people don't take time to assess is this emotion productive for me? Is it productive for anyone else? Or could it possibly be non-productive? So often our emotional outbursts are actually non-productive. And we don't always understand the way that we are making decisions and getting to that place of an emotional release. And if we don't take the time to understand that, then we can't actually solve the problems. Now, when people get stuck in a state of emotional entitlement, it actually hurts them. They're dissatisfied oftentimes in their relationships. They usually don't feel understood. Even though they are dumping all kinds of emotions out, many times they feel like people just don't fully get it. They don't really understand them. And this is because the more you dump out, the more you assume must be there. Now, this doesn't mean that we should be bottling emotions, so don't get me wrong on that. When a person bottles emotions, what that means is that there's some sort of feeling or discussion that they should be having with another person, but they're not having it to be controlling or to protect themselves in some way, but they're not really thinking about, is this productive or non-productive? So that's the question that we need to analyze when we're deciding what type of an emotional response we want to choose to have. That's right, I said choose. Many people don't think they can choose their emotional responses, but they can. In fact, there wouldn't even be a term called emotional entitlement if a person could not choose to be emotional or not be emotional. Because when a person is entitled, they are deciding that they deserve to be treated a certain way, or they are deciding that they deserve to act a certain way. So that suggests then that there is a choice. So how do you know if you actually have emotional entitlement? Well, do you feel like the only time you are honest with yourself and other people is if you indulge in allowing the emotional response that just naturally happened or boiled to the surface to always come out? Well, then you might be emotionally entitled. Many people think that if they hold emotion back or do something different than emotionally react to a circumstance, then they are not being completely honest with themselves or completely honest with other people. In fact, they feel like they're doing everyone a service by telling that person exactly how they feel or showing them how they feel. But actually, in many cases, it hurts other people. Some people think they have to vomit up their emotion. If they're feeling frustration inside, they have to vomit it out. But let's think of the context of vomit, right? So vomit is when you throw up sickness, right? So if you're throwing up sickness of emotion on somebody else, what about them? Do they have any rights, or do they just have to allow someone to throw up sickness on them? And what's going to happen to them afterward? That certainly cannot be the way that we are supposed to handle our problems. It's just not productive. Now, do we sometimes need to tell people about how we're feeling? Absolutely. But should those feelings be left unchecked? No. In fact, good emotional intelligence suggests that we actually acknowledge our feelings and we check them to see what we want to do next. When a person has emotional freedom or emotional intelligence, they recognize they get a feeling, then a thought, then an emotion happens. Because the emotion has the thought as its base, but the thought is something we can choose. We may not be able to choose the initial feeling, but we can choose the thought and the emotion or the action that we take based upon the thought that we had about the feeling. So this gives people complete control over how they want to use their emotions. This doesn't mean that they are being dishonest or bottling anything up. This means they are stopping themselves, analyzing what's going on, and making a good decision for themselves so that they feel empowered and they're properly understood, so that they preserve relationships and so that they most successfully communicate the feeling that they actually had, or maybe start problem solving, which is what they maybe really want to have accomplished. So we're going to talk about what you can do about emotional entitlement if you have that situation within yourself or if you know somebody else who's struggling with emotional entitlement. But first, is this interesting to you? If so, click the subscribe button now. There are so many videos on this channel that will help you and other people conquer things like emotional entitlement, depression, anxiety, and just general unity and connection for the family. So make sure you click subscribe now. So what can you do about it if you are experiencing emotional entitlement? The very first thing you can do is you can say to yourself, I think I have emotional entitlement. Just go ahead and say it out loud. This must mean that I feel like I deserve to dump my emotions out on other people, to make other people have to deal with my emotions. And I need to acknowledge this is a controlling behavior. When people are having emotional outbursts, many times, not every time, but many times, they are actually in a power struggle. So keep that in mind too. If you lost your puppy, you're going to have a cry. If you go through a hard experience, you might feel sorrow or have a little cry. And that's okay. That's normal emotional stuff. And that's all emotional release. But most people, when they really get emotional, it's when they're trying to control other people or get people to understand them. Emotion does not lead to good understanding. When you are in the mid part of your brain and you are power struggling with other people, it makes them want to go to midbrain and power struggle with you. As soon as someone goes to midbrain, they are not in front brain. Front brain is where we understand. It's where we analyze, diagnose, and solve our problems. So if you want someone to help you with your problem solving, you've got to keep them in front brain, which means you can't be problem solving with them in a way that is power struggling. So what do you do instead? You need to tell yourself, okay, right now I feel anger, or right now I feel misunderstood, but what else is true? They may not know what they don't know about me, or I might need to take a little bit more time to explain myself to them, or maybe this is the wrong time to have this conversation with this person and I need to find a better time, or what should I be focusing on to bring myself to calmness so that I can have a calm conversation with other people. So a truth might be I'm angry. Another truth is that means I'm not calm. I've got to get myself calm first. So ask yourself, what else is true about my circumstance, and then start directing yourself in a forward direction that is productive. Every action step or thought that you are going to make, ask yourself, is this productive? Is this going to help me bond to other people, solve a problem, be understood, establish good connections? Feel empowered. It should be able to do all of those things if it's truly good communication. But if you ever feel out of control or like you're power struggling with someone or that they just don't understand you, probably you are emoting in a way that means you're going about it wrong. So take the time to stop yourself before you react. This can be very hard to do. I know it's much easier to say stop yourself than to do it, but I have to tell you something. I trained myself how to do this, and I have additional training that I'm going to give you for free so that you can learn how to do it for yourself too. But when I did treatment foster care for troubled teens, I brought these youth into my home that were non-neurotypical, had a lot of trauma, and they had behaviors that were aggressive. There was a lot of chaos that started happening, and I realized I couldn't handle the chaos unless I could keep myself calm. But I have a real strong will, and I'm probably inclined to power struggle a little bit. So what I had to do is I had to decide that I was going to give that up. I was going to change that part about me, or I would never touch the hearts of the youth that were in my home. And you know what? It changed my relationship with my husband too, because he and I used to power struggle a little bit from time to time as well. So what I did is I decided that every time I saw chaos happening or saw something that looked like a power struggle, I would tell myself, stop, take a step back, and then I would analyze, am I calm? And I had planned ahead of time what calm meant. It meant I had a certain voice tone, I had a certain body posturing. There was a way that I was thinking that helped me know if I was calm or not. If the answer was yes, I would carry on and have the conversation. If the answer was no, I had a calm plan. I would like to tell you more about my Calm plan. If you've enjoyed this video, I have a free gift for you. So in the description below this video, there is a link to my Calm Parenting Toolkit, and I am going to give it to you for free. The link is teachselfgov.com/toolkit. So if you click on that link right now, you can have my 10-lesson Teaching Self-Government Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. And this is a great first step in you learning how to govern you so that you can make sure that you are less entitled, more connected, and living in a more productive way. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.